Hello and welcome back to Objects of Reverence. This is episode 2. I'm Chrissy and today we're going to be talking about objects from France. And I have spent quite a bit of time in France. I've been fortunate to have a few opportunities to do that. So I could probably do like an entire season of this show on French stuff. But today I'm going to focus on a couple of my favorite, they're not really paper products, books. They're just books. And a couple of sort of funny things that I found in Paris while I was there. So with that, let's get rolling.
What's the point of this video?
Okay, so the point of the video is, as you know, but as the people don't yet know, golden Elvis mug. I'm a little bit smushed, but okay. Look at how wonderful this is. Do a little kiss. Yes. And this is the king of acorns. And if you don't believe it, read them and weep. Worm sucker tequila. That's it for now. All right. So why have I spent so much time in France? When I was in my junior year of college at Boston University, I was studying philosophy and realized I had absolutely no clue what I was going to do with my future, and I was kind of, graduation was impending. And on a phone call with my mom, we kind of, I don't know how we came up with the idea, but we were like, let's look into me being an au pair somewhere, basically being like a live-in nanny somewhere else. And so I just found like a website basically and met an amazing family and ended up going to sort of the countryside in France. The town is called Chambéry. It's kind of like this mountain surrounded region that is sort of on the border of Switzerland and Italy. It was very idyllic and nice. So I was there for a year, then I came back, I finished my degree and graduated. Since then, I've been working in crypto as a designer. Sort of while I was in France, I had this, epiphany of like, what am I doing? I don't want to be a philosopher or a teacher. Art is really what I want to be doing, and so graphic design I ended up teaching myself, and there's a good story with one of these objects that kind of plays into that. But after that, I learned how to do graphic design, did apps, started working in crypto kind of early in my career, and have been working in crypto for the last 5-6 years. While working in crypto, very international industry. I had the opportunity to go to a lot of conferences, do a few talks, speak on panels in a number of different countries, which will probably be featured in some other episodes of this. But Paris is one of my favorite destinations to do so. So I've been on a few return trips in the last few years, which is when I got some of these. All right, so in this episode, I'm kind of going heavy on storytelling, and I hope at some point there will be, at least a few other people watching this that can give me some feedback, leave some comments, send me some DMs, whatever it is, to tell me what you actually like about this, if any of it. If you want more stuff and less of me blabbing, I get it, but for now, I'm just going to go with what feels natural. And so with that, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story about my time in France, how it kind of led into getting further into a design career. So basically, I was watching two little French girls, Margot and Clara, and they were super cute and also evil, but, kids, I think, are cute and evil in equal parts. And we had a great time. I was learning French at the time. I had taken French all through high school, but, when you actually go to the country, you realize that you don't know French at all. So I was learning French, and so one of the ways that I was kind of learning was we would go to the children's library, and I would read them sort of stories in French, and it was helping me learn French, and of course it was a fun activity for them. So while I was there, I discovered this one particular author, an illustrator. Her name is Anne Herbauts. Anneherbauts. It's called Sous la montagne, and that means like under the mountain. And I want to show you the illustrations because essentially what happened was I was there in France. Like I said, I was studying philosophy, and I realized kind of with my free time in France that the things I wanted to be doing were really more around art. I took a lot of art classes, I did a lot of drawing, all of the activities I was doing with the kids was art related. And you can see just the French aesthetic I think, and not to say that this is necessarily characteristic of the French aesthetic, but I do think that there was this quality in France, and it came through in food, it came through in television or film, where there wasn't like a kid version of stuff. It was like, we want our kids to be exposed to, or I don't even know if it's intentional like that. It's just like there wasn't any kind of provision for the kids to do some like lesser or watered down version of what the adults are doing. And so when I was looking through these children's books, which in the United States, for the most part, I would say are kind of, you know, a more simple version of a drawing that someone would do, I found these illustrations to be so rich, so sort of adult, mature. I mean, look at just, it's funny. Like there's something kind of funny about it and quirky and lively, but I just think they're incredible. I mean, I was just immediately inspired going through specifically this artist's works. I mean, the colors, the characters, the oh, look at the texture. I mean, this reminds me of like a project that I did with the kids one time where we used beet juice to make as ink. And so we were like drawing with beet juice, and there's just something so fundamentally artistic about these illustrations that I feel like is unique. I mean, look at that. Look at it. Very sweet and fun and weird. They're just fucking weird, you know? Like, I just wish kids stuff was a little bit weirder sometimes. And there's some, it's like, it's a little adult. And so anyway, I like love this so much. I'm gonna post a link to the book that was like really sort of formative for me that I had pictures of like everywhere. But like, look, I think this is some kind of destruction, like world destruction. Anyway. All right, so that was kind of my children's book inspiration story. So now we're going to move into some less meaningful but still fun objects, specifically from Paris. So this was from the town that I was living in. So let's do that. Whenever I'm in Paris, I always go to this bookstore called Artazart. It's spelled Artazart. For any of my Frenchies out there, please correct my pronunciation. But it's this amazing little sort of art and design bookstore. They have magazines. I usually buy like a bunch of magazines, one like proper book, because you know the thicker, bigger art books are pretty expensive and heavy for luggage. And then they also have like fun little like postcards and greeting cards, little bags, you know, like a little gift shop. So anyway, that is an amazing place to stop if you're in Paris, and that area is really cute. So this is, again, not really meaningful at all to me, but purely aesthetic. The illustrations in here and kind of the colors and everything that's going on is something that I do look to for inspiration when I'm coming up with patterns or doing a color palette for design, whatever it is. That's kind of how I use a lot of these objects when I'm not able to, you know, display them actively or whatever it is. So this metamorphosis, I'm guessing is what it means in French, but you can already see like there are a number of like really nice things, and this is more of like I guess you would call it like a magazine type binding as far as the way the book is bound. And what's interesting is it's actually, let me make sure this is true before yes, so it's actually individual pieces, and the binding is just this strap. So basically there's no real binding, which is kind of amazing. Like, it's really beautiful. You can take the pieces out individually. It's got some little things falling out of it, but so Métamorphe. So what is, like, first of all, the color palette is incredible. I'm always going to be talking about high contrast colors, but like this kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of like a sunset, or maybe it's a sunrise. I'm not sure which this is, but like the orange, pink, and purple, maybe that's sunrise kind of color scheme, but it's also got this amazing like texture to it. It almost looks like spray painted, which is amazing. So this is just sort of the opening page. We're using like pretty great fonts, and I love that it's also silver. Kind of the font color is this silver throughout, and it's a little bit like shiny. So you can see it's like these abstract, I don't know, illustrations, collages. This one feels kind of like fire. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm like obsessed with any, which you probably have already seen, like animals, like weird animals are just, I love them. Like this is like a giraffe's hind, and this I think is a little rhinoceros, but it looks like it's plastic, like a plastic kid's toy, like maybe a photograph that was distorted. This is fucking awesome. It looks like kiwis or like yeah, like fruit that's been, or maybe like geodes. Like geodes. I just love the composition. Like this page in particular, this would be such a rad and weird wallpaper. I mean, you would have to be a certain kind of crazy to put this on your walls and be with it every day, but like it's just awesome. Like I'm down for this. This is by the way, Alexandra Pascual, artist, interdisciplinary, and textile designer. So I'll be looking that up, and I will put all of this information elsewhere. But like this is, I'm pretty sure, a big tiger head on a shark's body, and I think this is genius. I love this. Okay, this is such an amazing spread, in my opinion. I don't know what it is, but it just feels right to me. This white space versus this filled in, the composition just makes me happy. And the text placement, there's something about this that just feels really good to me. And I wish I could design like this, honestly. I'm a little bit jealous. Look at how fucking, sorry that I'm cursing so much in this one, but this, what is that evoking to you? Because to me, that is like, you know, piece of tinfoil, or like, no, it's not even tinfoil. It's that metallic, like wrapping paper but it's almost like plasticky. It's not paper, and it's all folded, and we have these reflections. I mean, it's genius. Anyway, it's really fun for me to do this because then I feel like I get to appreciate each of these things a little bit more, but I'm not gonna go through this entire thing, but I'm going to post where this is from so you can kind of look at it, because there's, I mean, every single page is amazing. Like, this is really awesome. And again, I think the inspiration, and I'm gonna look it up, but I feel like they are prints made or inspired by little, like, plastic kids, like, animal figurines. That's the vibe I'm getting from these. Okay. So that is Métamorphe. I'm like trying to say it, but yeah. And again, Alexandra Pascual. Okay, so that was number 2. And number 3 is actually on the same animal theme, which unintended, but it's just amazing how the universe, you know, brings it together. All right, like I said, the last object that we will be looking at today that I just revere is along the animal theme. I found these the last time I was in Paris. So I was walking to a friend's apartment in Montmartre, and I walked past this like costume store, and these were just like they were covering like a total area of the exterior of the building. So they were like decor on the outside, and I walked past it. I didn't have time to stop because I was late for dinner. But then I went back before my flight, the day of my flight, to buy some of these because I love them so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring them out. They are the most amazing and ridiculous animal masks. And they were like $1. Like, that's my favorite thing about objects of reverence, is some of my objects are from, like, you know, like I have some stuff from like a fancy antique store or something that cost a lot. And then I have stuff like this from like dollar stores, grocery stores. Like, it can be anywhere. You can revere anything. If you freaking love it, I love these. So let's just try one on. I mean, it's a little bit small for my face. It's probably intended for children, but I think I look kind of like great in it. And then we can do, I got the duck, and then the crow is pretty intense. The crow is freaky as fuck. When I first got these, the crow is freaky. When I first got home from this trip, I invited a bunch of friends over to do a dinner party where everybody had to wear the mask I gave them. And the crow was definitely the one that was like, this is kind of scary, but also lovely. I think what I love about them is like they were probably like $2 or something, and I'm pretty sure they are also spray painted or like mass produced somewhere. But again, there's something like artistic about it. Like I think especially this one. I think just the orange, the yellow, it's just a great, and I think that the contouring with the paint is actually really nice, and it feels kind of realistic in a way, even though it's obviously not realistic, but it has like a depth to it that I think, I don't know, just attracted me, I guess. And they all kind of have that. I mean, some of them are more kind of two-tone or three-tone, and then some are more, sorry, I tied them all in knots so I could hang them on the wall, but then my husband was like, this is really freaky, these can't be on the wall. So I took them down, but look at this. What do I look scary? Okay. And then I'll just show you the other two I have. I got this little dog and the frog. The frog is also really funny because there's no like neck situation with the frog. It's just kind of like, okay. Anyway, so, you know, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed a few of my favorite French objects. Maybe I'll show more at some point, but let me know what your favorite was. And I will add information for everything shown today in the bio, descriptions, whatever. And thanks for watching.